Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in. So for today, I have a recipe and I have a homestead money saving idea here. So for the money saving idea is I am working on not being as reliant on grocery stores. So I am going to be making my own homemade dryer sheets. Everything is recyclable. You don't throw anything away at all. Just need a few ingredients and you can have your own. So what you're going to need is you're going to need about 1 1/4 cup of vinegar, distilled vinegar. You're going to need about 20 drops of any essential oil that you want to use. I have fresh linen here, an airtight container. You don't have to use a baby wipe container. You don't have to use, anything. You don't have to go buy anything extra. If you already have a airtight container, and I got these at Dollar Tree, they'll work. And on Amazon, and I'll link it down below in the comments where I got my little baby washcloths. I got 10 from Amazon, and they don't matter what color they are. In fact, I have 2 that don't belong in here that I bought at Walmart. But all of these other ones all came from Amazon, and that is what I'm going to use. And you just take one of these little washcloths, throw it in your dryer while you're drying your clothes. It'll have vinegar and it'll have your essential oil in it, and it'll stop static and leave a really nice scent in your dryer. And then when you're done with this, you fold it and then you put it with all of your other dryer sheets. And once your container is empty, you just start over again and you make it again. That it's as simple as that. You don't need to have any expensive washcloths. You don't have to have an expensive container. So let me show you how this is made. All right, so you'll take your container and open it up, and your measuring cup, and you're going to measure out 1 1/4 cup to start with. If you need a little extra vinegar, then you can add the vinegar after. Let's start with 1 1/4 cup. I'm going to do about 20 drops of this essential oil, and I don't have I do have a dropper. If you don't have a dropper, you don't need to have a dropper. I bought these little pipettes off of Amazon. I got a whole lot of them. I'll link them down in comments if I can. So I'm going to draw up some of this, and then I'm going to do 20 drops. Pour this in here, and then we're going to give this a really good shake with the lid on, because you want all that oil to mix in with the vinegar. Once it's all mixed, you will start putting your washcloths in there. Doesn't matter how they look, just make sure they're folded so they're kind of easy to grab. If you want to know where I got my oil from, I actually got it from Dollar Tree. Give them all good squish. And then turn it over and squish it again. Reason being is you want everybody saturated. You don't want any leftover vinegar sitting idle in the bottom of your bowl. But if your bottom ones are kind of dry, flip them into the middle, give it a good squish, and then check to make sure that everybody is wet. Okay, everybody is wet. Put the lid on. There you go. Put this on top of your dryer, and when you need one, open it up and throw 1 or 2 in your dryer. and you're ready to go. Homemade, made with just simple vinegar and some essential oil. Well, wasn't that super simple to make? Let me know down in the comments what you guys use on a money-saving budget on anything, whatever it is that you do. I do dryer sheets and I do liquid softener. Don't need any at this exact moment, but if you want the recipe, it's super easy. Just take an old liquid fabric softener bottle, fill it almost to the top with water, and then add a half of a bottle of hair conditioner. I just get the cheapest one at Walmart for like $1.19. I put a half of that bottle in and shake that bottle up as hard as I can. Get all of that hair conditioner all just moistened with that water, and then I will pour that into my washer when I want liquid fabric softener. And you can get it so much cheaper. You can make it so much cheaper than you can ever buy it, even at the dollar store. I mean, you can beat that price. You can pick up a dollar store hair conditioner and divide it in half for half that price. That's amazing. And this is some of the things that I'm doing to be less reliant on buying full products from grocery stores when I can buy just the basic staples that I can use for other things, like the vinegar I can use for other stuff. The essential oil, I can use it not only in my dryer sheets, but I can use it to make my house smell better. I can burn it and make, better smelling if you have an odd smell in your house or something. And I don't tend to use this one so much in my house. I'll use the ones like, pumpkin pie spice, or, things like that, the more holiday type. And then for the fabric softener, it's water and hair conditioner. And I use hair conditioner for my hair, so why not use it for my laundry also? With this being finished, let's move on to today's recipe. And today's recipe is going to be, I hope that you guys will be excited, it's going to be breakfast cereal made with dehydrated marshmallows, just like Lucky Charms, only I don't like to just eat Lucky Charms. I love other flavors. So I got these little flavorings from Laura Ann. You can get these on Etsy, many different flavors. And I'm going to do cookies and cream with marshmallows. So if you guys are interested in how to make gluten-free cold cereal and not granola, stay tuned. Okay, so the ingredients for this gluten-free breakfast cereal is, and I downloaded and printed a Fruit Loops recipe, but I don't have a freeze dryer and I can't freeze dry fruit, and I don't want to pay that kind of price. So I'm modifying this recipe to match what I want, and I've changed quite a few ingredients here, and I will tell you what the original is and what I am going to be using. So to start with, you're going to need 1 cup of all-purpose gluten-free flour. And if it has xanthan gum in it, you are okay. If it does not have xanthan gum in it, you will need a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. They're using 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I don't have any, so I'm using potato starch. 2 tablespoons of cultured buttermilk. I don't keep buttermilk in my house because I don't use it that often, but you can make it super simple. Take powdered milk and vinegar, and you can make your own buttermilk. So I need only 2 little tablespoons, but I make a full cup of milk, or a full half gallon of milk at a time. So I will pull out 2 tablespoons of milk and then just add a few drops of vinegar, and I will actually make buttermilk. You'll need 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Yes, this says idolized, but I reuse this container. I buy my salt from Winco in bulk, so this is no longer regular idolized sugar or salt. This is actually kosher salt. You'll need 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and They're using a half a cup of granulated sugar. I want to make mine as close to sugar-free as possible, aside from the marshmallows. So I'm going to be using monk fruit. So you need a half a cup of monk fruit, and then 7 tablespoons additionally, because you're going to use it for dusting when you're rolling out the dough. So the total is 1 cup plus 7 tablespoons of monk fruit. And then 3 1/3 tablespoons of vegetable shortening melted. I'm not going to use that. I don't have lard, but I do have coconut oil. So I'm going to be using coconut oil. And I will melt this. It melts really super fast in the microwave. And then you need 1/4 of a cup of cream or milk at room temperature, and I'm opting to use evaporated fat-free milk for that. And then for my flavoring, because I'm not using freeze-dried fruit, I'm going to be using the Laura Ann flavoring. I'm going to use a half of this bottle. This is cookies and cream. And finally, as you all saw, dehydrated marshmallows. Now, if you don't know how to dehydrate marshmallows, it's super, super easy. You take your dehydrator. You need to have a dehydrator that you can adjust the temperature and time on, because you will dehydrate your marshmallows at 135 degrees for about 18 hours. How you test that your marshmallows are completely dehydrated is you pick one up and you bite it in half with your front teeth. Don't put it in your mouth. Don't try to chew it, because if it's not completely dry on the inside, it'll actually stick to your teeth and make it very difficult to get it off your teeth. It actually turns almost like concrete. But just bite it with your front teeth. If you can't bite all the way through cleanly, then they are not dehydrated all the way. You also will need to or want to condition these. So once you have finished dehydrating them and you allow them to cool to room temperature, put them in a bag and shake the bag every single day, or turn it over like this, and you move them around. So if there is any moisture or any of the marshmallows actually sticking to the bag, they will have a chance to continue to dry. So those are the ingredients. So let's get to making this recipe. All right, so in your bowl, you're going to place your 1 cup of gluten-free flour. If you need the xanthan gum, put the xanthan gum in. You're going to put in your potato starch, cornstarch, 2 tablespoons, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, half a cup of the sweetener of your choice, your cultured buttermilk, your regular milk, or your cream, or I'm using evaporated milk, and your 3 1/3 tablespoons of fat. And it needs to be fat that will solidify when it's at room temperature. I'm using coconut oil. And finally, my flavoring. You never know how much you want to use. You just kind of go by your gut, and when it tells you that's enough, you stop. I won't know until I get this mixed up. Right now it smells really strong. And now you're going to mix this all up. I have all different flavors of those. I have marshmallow and chocolate, coconut, mint, root beer. If you just go onto Etsy and you just look up the Laura Ann flavorings, you'll see there is so many different flavors. Now, if you're going to roll this dough out, you will need to put down a silicone mat that it won't stick to, and then you're going to need to add either more monk fruit sitting on there so it won't stick, or if you're using regular sugar, you'll need to use powdered sugar so that it won't stick. So you can roll it out and then you can cut it into little, if you want it Cheerios shaped, you can cut it into little Cheerio shapes. But I am going to use a silicone mold. Let me show you. I got these little molds. Look at that. They are so cute. I got them on Temu. I absolutely love these. And so what I am going to do is take a little bit of dough, press it in, and then we're going to bake these at 325 degrees for about 4 to 6 minutes. And then we will pop these out and put them in the dehydrator. You don't have to have a dehydrator for this. You can put them back in your oven for 7 minutes at 250 degrees. I am going to use my dehydrator because what you want to do is remove the remaining moisture out of this so they turn crispy like a cereal. All right, filling it up. It takes a little bit of time. I have 2 of these, but I also have my coffee bean ones, and I might do those also. We'll see. It just depends on how much dough I have. Leave a comment down below. Have you ever made your own homemade cereal, whether it's gluten-free or not? And how did you like it? And if you're willing to share the recipe. I would imagine a lot of people would love to see your guys' recipes too. I would love to see your recipes. I also make granola. Granola's super easy to make, so fast. And mine's gluten-free. If you guys are interested, there is a video of it. My such angry little Pomeranian is barking at some little kids riding their bikes outside. She wants them to come play with her. All right, I'll get these all filled in and I'll get started on baking them, and then I'll show you what they look like when they come out, when they're ready to go in the dehydrator. All right, first set is done, ready to go into the oven. These are my coffee bean molds. I'm going to be filling those because they still have a whole lot of dough left. So into the oven these go for about 4 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to start with 4 and see what happens. All right, fresh out of the oven. I got to let them cool for a little while, and then I'm going to put them in my dehydrator. All right, so the first set's out of the oven. I popped them out. Not all of them are perfect, but hey, it's cereal. So I still have this one to unmold, and then I've got my coffee bean ones in the oven right now. So as soon as I get my dehydrator down here, I'll get them on the trays and I'll show you how to dehydrate this. All right, so you'll take out one of your trays. I have wax paper on mine. As long as the wax paper looks decent, I kind of leave it in there. Flip your mold over and then start popping them out. Now, these things are fragile. Some of them will break, but again, it's cereal. It does not need to be perfect. Well, in my eyes, it does not need to be perfect. I move them out of the way. They're still a little moist, which is why you want to dehydrate them. Now, you can totally do this in your oven. You bake them at 325, then turn it down to 250 for 7 minutes or until these things are crispy dry. I'm going to put this cereal into the dehydrator. I'm going to set it at max temperature, and for mine is 165 degrees. I'm going to run it for 30 minutes. I'm going to check it after 15 just to see if they're done. And if they are, I'll show you when they're completely done and actually how long it took for me to dehydrate them. All right, guys, the dehydrator is now done. I did about an hour at 165. Let's check to see how good they look. Oh, wow. They look really good. Probably should give a taste to see. They, oh yeah, they feel nice. Just like a cereal, they feel the same. All right, so let's put some in a bowl with some marshmallow and some milk. All right, so here's my bowl. Let me grab just a few. So I got a few in the bowl. I'll grab some of my marshmallows. I only have a few, so I'm only going to grab a few. Grab my milk. Yeah, I make my own powdered milk. And that looks, it's kind of hard to see. Let me aim you down. All right, guys, there we go. Got me a spoon. Let's give this a try. Oh my gosh. It's not too sweet. Just sweet enough. The marshmallows make it like sweeter. Tastes almost like Teddy Grahams with marshmallows. I'm so totally going to do this again. This was so worth it. I hope that you enjoyed this gluten-free cereal recipe. Leave me a comment down below if you've made cereal, whether it's gluten-free or not, and what did you think of it? And also, if you make this recipe, come on back to this video, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think and what flavor you ended up doing. I'm not quite sure which the next flavor I'm going to want to do. I have so many to choose from, but I'll let you know what my next one is, but I'm definitely making this again. This is a huge winner. So guys, if you enjoyed this gluten-free cereal recipe, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified each time I upload one of these recipes. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that came and watched my video today, and until next upload, bye.